This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenrail radio playlist. zenrailclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Pointy Bakery. If you're located in the Pointy area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Pointy Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone could podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. All right, so I thought we'd just start off with Ortega, given that just happened yesterday. But I was showing, like, you couldn't stay up to watch it, but I was showing you the clips from yesterday, and like, what'd you think? Did you also see that? Because like, it's weird to me. Everyone's like, oh, he showed the heart of a lion, he's durable, but I'm like, that's not what you want. Like, Stylebender said that before. He's like, he doesn't want to be like durable. He wants to like dominate.
Right.
You know, durable just means you can take a bunch of punches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like,
yeah. I mean, the other guy didn't even look phased. Like
the other guy,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. But like when I showed you the end of that one round where he was getting like the beat down and then it ended and you were like, oh, they dragged him up. I was like, yeah.
He was literally...
But why did nobody's commenting on that? I think
it's just because it was right at that... It is at that... like the round is over. So it's kind of like... No, but it's like, I don't know if they can... It's like a gray area where they can't really call it.
Well, actually, one fight earlier... Actually, the one fight right before, they called it with like seconds to spare. So it's like,
yeah,
it could, it is a gray area because the other one, they called it right before the round ended, and then this one they just let the round end. Mm-hmm. But one thing that I thought was pretty crazy was like, it's like, all right, did you see like the distress on his face?
Yeah.
You could see it, right? So like, I think it's when you listen to it with comments, because I listened to it muted. And like when you listen to it without sound, you really focus on like the person who's fighting, you know what I mean? Versus like hearing the announcers say like, oh my God, this is an amazing fight. Look at, he's got so much heart, you know, there's no like influence. But if you just watch it straight up, like you can really see what's actually going on. And I feel like that's probably, I think everyone's like buying into their own.
Well, I mean, of course, any fighter doesn't want to be where he was in his position. Like,
but you don't show it, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but it's hard to like prevent yourself from showing it if it's really like you're emotionally in it. Yeah,
you're like done. Like at the end when you saw like he was spent, like is that they had to drag him on. Like when I first watched it, I didn't realize that the round ended. I thought he lost.
Because it was a little bit like
it seemed like it, right?
Nobody did anything for like a second,
and then they're like, okay, get up.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden like the stool was there. They brought him up, and it's like
right. It was like, oh, so they're gonna keep fighting.
Yeah, but the way they dragged him up was like he was. I think out though.
Yeah,
I think he was out.
Totally. And like it's interesting too because when they were checking him, I thought it was gonna be another doctor stoppage, just like the Max one.
Right.
But because they were doing like a lot of like the tests, I was like, oh, it looks like it's done for him because he took a lot of damage again. And then I was watching the post fight interview with Alexander, his opponent, and he was saying how he was watching that too, and he's like, oh, it's gonna be stopped because like they asked him questions, which I thought was kind of, I guess it's like the marketing of it all. So he said that they were asking him questions, and I noticed that too. They were like, look this direction, and he looked the opposite direction, and then he was like stumbling, and then his opponent Alexander, he was like, oh, it's done. And then they waited for him to get one correct answer, and then they were like, okay, keep fighting. And he was like, well, that's weird, like he's obviously out, you know. And I think it was like the promotional aspect of it, you know. We can't have two doctor stoppage fights where, you know, it's like, you know what I mean? Like
I wonder if that probably comes into play here.
Because I thought that was weird too. Like you saw like they're moving the hand in front of the eyes, and he wasn't looking at the hand, and it was like, and then he was like looking all over and like
he was dazed. He didn't really. Yeah, he was dazed.
Yeah.
He was dazed.
And then to hear Volkanovski say like that he waited for them. They waited for him to answer one correct, and then they kept fighting. It was like that's kind of weird. So like maybe a promotion. It seems like it would be a promotion based thing. But yeah, I don't know. I was really hyped over his win with Korean Zombie at the last one when he was doing all those crazy like backwards up. Remember we were like, whoa, this guy changed, you know? And they're all saying like, oh, Brian, like when he loses, he becomes a different person. But like against like a champion, it's like, oh man, you're back to getting worked, you know? It's like,
yeah.
Do you think he could win a championship?
I don't know.
I feel like like it's sad to say, but I feel like his championship dreams are done. But like I'm sure he'll keep fighting because he was saying like how he loves fighting, but it'll just be like him beating a bunch of undercard people. Like I couldn't see him losing to people that aren't the champion. You know. What was weird too is like unorthodox fighters, like with the people that just keep it like to the basics, which Max Holloway did and which Volkanovski did, they like destroyed him, you know, like just straight up boxing and
right.
Like, yeah, because they grew up doing that, right? But before you can grapple, you have to strike, right? So if you don't have the striking there, how can you grapple? Yeah, it's a little sad. And then I showed you the Nick Diaz one. So he is also one that's like, they're like, oh, he takes a lot of damage and like, but you're watching like the future of who you're going to be. Because like, remember that guy gave up. Like he couldn't do the whole damage thing anymore.
I felt like this was in his past, he used to just take punches. Like
that's all that was
I think like at this point it's come to a level where, I mean, there's ramifications to all that.
Totally. Yeah.
And that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Like where it's like, I think I can't take it anymore. Like,
yeah. I think like that's why people were like going off, because like he never quit before. He was like destroyed. That was like they were known for taking punishment.
Yeah, but that's just not good in the long term.
And time catches up to you.
Yeah.
So like to see where Nick Diaz is and like Brian Ortega also being like that too. It's like, oh, he takes a lot of damage, but he's gonna keep coming forward. It's like that's not the road you want to go down, you know?
Yeah. No.
And it's like, it was almost like sad to see him, like the post fight when he's like, old Rob, I knew I had it coming. It was like, what? Why did you take this fight then? You know?
Yeah. I think at that age and you're fighting, it just seems like you really, like, I don't know, like you might love the fight, but it's probably more about the money. Like,
yeah, for sure. Even him being like, I don't even know how this fight got started. My old manager.
Yeah, that's kind of weird to say that.
Why would you say that in the ring? I was like, what? You're like airing out some weird drama, you know? But I guess he's always like, if you watch his other fights, he's always super candid. So like, and usually he comes out with like, it's called like the Nick Diaz Army. So like he has like 20 people that come out with him, but it was just him by himself. And they were saying how even in the broadcast, they were like, it's a little weird that nobody's there in his corner right now. So I wonder if like something fell apart with that, you know, or
yeah, I don't. I mean, always make
guesses and stuff. Yeah. His brother got wrecked too in the last fight. Like his brother also has that style of like just taking it, and like he got wrecked.
There's a limit to that.
Yeah, but it looked good. Like in the beginning, I thought he was like, oh, maybe he might win, because he was like punching the other guy a lot. But my money was on the other guy, because I was like, that other guy was more active than him, even though they're like about the same age. But like his body, like Nick Diaz's body, didn't look very like athletic. They had to like they had to move it up a weight class because he couldn't make weight. So like instead of canceling the card,
that already kind of looks bad.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's weird, man. The fighting thing is like so odd to me, because there's really such like a short window that you can do this in. You know?
I think it is. Yeah.
And you really wreck your body. It's like to see Ortega's face again messed up. It's like that's more surgery that you're gonna have to go through.
Yeah.
And like, how many more of these do you have to go through? You know, like I'm sure his students, like his kids, his brother, I'm sure they're all like really scared for him, you know, because like, he's a nice guy, right? So it's like,
right.
It's sad to see somebody get worked like that.
Yeah, I think it always looks bad when your face is all stuff.
Yeah, totally. But I was thinking about something too when I was watching them fight all last night. It's almost like watching two bugs fight. Right, like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like,
well, it's what it is, right? It's just
it's so odd. It was tripping me out. I was like, wait, it's kind of weird. Like the fights beforehand. Yeah. So like, you know how everybody always starts like standing striking, and then for some reason they fall to the ground, they start grappling, and I was like, that's almost like if you put like two cockroaches fighting and then they're like grappling each other. It's literally the same thing, you know? You're just watching like two or like roosters like cockfighting.
Yeah. I was going to say
right?
that.
They like fly at each other and they just entangle, and then like maybe like to us it's like, oh, when you watch the cockfighting, it's like, oh, they're just like flapping their wings or whatever. But like to them, it's like, no, I'm like passing the guard. Like, you know what I mean? Like to us, if you look at it and you don't know what the moves are, it looks like they're just entangled and like fighting in a weird way.
Right.
You know, almost as if you're watching two bugs fight, you know? And then they like, but if you know what the moves are, it's like you can systematically see where they're going to next.
Right.
But just like bugs, it's like, if I just understood bug anatomy, maybe I would look at that. You know what I mean? Like it's like the parallels
is that
there.
Yeah. Right.
Even like the snake versus the possum. You ever see those? And then like they'll just entangle again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It like tripped me out. I was like, why am I watching like weird animals fighting right now?
Well, we're animals.
I know, dude, and that's what's crazy.
I mean, this has been tradition. You know what I mean? For like centuries, we've been doing this forever.
Yeah, for sure. And it's weird because like grappling is so primal. You know, it's so like it. Like if you know what you're doing, it's very elegant. But if you don't know what any of this is and you just look at it, you're like, it looks so primal.
Yeah, you don't really understand what's happening.
And then it looks like you're just like rolling on the ground and like, how did that guy get into that position? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's weird. It's totally primal.
Oh yeah.
But because we attach the stories to it, you know, that's why you watch the embeddeds like leading up to the fight.
Yeah.
Like the biopic of like how we got here and like,
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like if they just did that for like the rooster and the hen, we'd be like, oh, this is so much drama wrapped up in this.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if they don't really do that for any other animal fights.
But because how could they? Like, you know, like Johnny the hen spent 20 days training for this, but like, you know what I mean? Like, but we like disassociate because we don't know their stories.
Yeah.
But because we understand these people's stories, we're like, oh, they're human, they're fighting. You know?
Yeah, that's what we make it. We make it a little bit different by adding that.
But at its base core, it's like it's just two animals fighting.
Yeah.
And that really tripped me out last night because it's like, what am I watching right now? Yeah, it's odd. Anything else you saw? Oh, actually, one more thing about this before we move on. One thing that I noticed, which is really fascinating. So, like, Stylebender's crew, they're strikers predominantly. Like the guy that beat Ortega, he's a part of Stylebender's crew.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and then there's this guy Dan the Hangman Hooker. He's also a part of, like, they're all from like down under, like Australia, New Zealand, that area, and so they formed like an alliance.
Okay.
And like they trained together and stuff. And like what was interesting because of COVID, because of all the regulations, so it looks like they're moving to America because they can't get the visas because they have to keep going back and quarantining.
Yeah, if they keep going back and forth, the amount of tests you're doing.
Yeah, and then
like there's so much more money involved.
They had to shut down their schools because of COVID, and then like they can't train.
Yeah, there's a much more. Yeah, like it's very strict in like New Zealand. Rules,
extremely, especially New Zealand. Yeah. So like that's what Dan was saying, and like I saw this post. Like so,
is it like for now they're gonna move to like America
for like the rest of the year, or like
right,
for,
like
for the foreseeable future,
for the current temporary future. Until.
So like Dan was saying at the end, like he's giving thanks to the people that tried to stop him, from going to this fight, and he was talking about the government because like they did everything to like lockdown, whatever, and like he couldn't train. But he was saying how when they were winning and everything was open, it's like, oh, we want you to be like, they're like ambassadors for the country, like you guys are amazing. And then like this COVID thing happened, and then they just like he was like, I felt like we were left. Like you show your true colors. Like you don't actually care about New Zealand as a sport, like us being amazing, because like they're doing something that no other, like that team, like Stylebender, like they're dominating the UFC right now, and he's kind of pissed that New Zealand's stopping them. But yeah, and then Stylebender like posted a thing. He's like, "Oh, cat's out of the bag. We're moving to USA." But makes sense though. Like
I think it makes sense. Yeah, it makes things a bit more easier for them, especially at this time. So
yeah, totally. Yeah, and what was interesting too, like from the fighting, Volkanovski and Dan, because they're predominantly strikers, but they're like, so like with BJJ, you think that you need to learn like this plethora of techniques, right? Because like, it takes so like 10 years to get a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? Because there's so many moves, but like they nullified it with wrestling. Like yesterday, I didn't show you the highlights, but like everything all these like grapplers did, like they just controlled it with just like top, like they just held the position and then just like struck, sort of like Khabib.
Right. Okay.
And I was like, oh, you don't really need to know that much. Because like they were trying all their moves to like get out of the position, but it's like, if I just hold you down, and if my focus is just holding you down and keeping one arm free to like pound your face, then it's not as difficult as I think that happens as, at the beginning, I guess they didn't know how to deal with something like grappling. Right. Yes. Actually, yeah, you're right. Actually, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
Right. And then as you figure out, this is how evolution kind of works. It's like, okay, we know where we can work around this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Like if there's one thing that they say all the time, like when you're rolling, it's interesting to go with I heard this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu dude, Jean-Jacques Machado, say this. He's like, he likes to go with white belts because they move in a way that's not Jiu-Jitsu. So like, if you know Jiu-Jitsu and I know Jiu-Jitsu, we're going to be playing that game. Yeah. But like, if you go against somebody that doesn't know it, they might nullify all of your attacks because then they're like, what? You're not supposed to move that way, And I saw that yesterday, like with Ortega, with Dan Hooker, like the way they were moving was like, they weren't trying to Jiu-Jitsu their way. Yeah. They were just like, let me just hold this and just beat you down. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like even at the end of the round when Ortega was like done, it's like, he didn't do any Jiu-Jitsu. He just like stood there. Yeah. And then I was waiting for Ortega, like, okay, what's your Gracie Jiu-Jitsu move to get out of this one? Because like he's been teaching for so long, but there was no move, It was like, this guy's just assaulting you and just like, right. Which is fascinating to see because it's like, okay, so how much grappling do you really need to know?
True. Yeah.
Right. Fascinating. Yeah. And a lot of like of the self-defense oriented jiu-jitsu, like the new sport jiu-jitsu, because there's so many rules, there's like so many ways that you can enter into a technique because you can do certain things, right? But when you use like punches, like self-defense based jiu-jitsu, what they're saying is like what you learn from white to blue, if you just perfect that, you'll be an amazing black belt. And I'm like, that's not a lot of moves though, But now it's like you were saying, it's evolved to like a sport. So now there's like millions of ways to get out of moves. But as we're seeing in MMA, it's like, do you really need that much jiu-jitsu? Right. It was weird. Yeah. Dude. It was like, I was like, come on, Brian. Like he did have a lot of like good transitions to like chokes and stuff, which were awesome, but they seemed more like Hail Marys. They didn't really seem like,
well, he didn't. Yeah, it didn't finish.
It didn't finish. Yeah, exactly. Although I was watching the post fight and the guy was like, "Oh, he had that sunk in, like it was very close to him winning." Right. But then I was like, "But he didn't win."
He didn't win. So yeah.
It's so like, how much do you need to know? You know what I mean? Like
there was a limit. Like he almost had you, but it didn't really finish. He didn't follow through it. So
that's what I was saying. So that's like, so do you need to be this crazy like jiu-jitsu expert? Like I think because of the UFC, we all think of jiu-jitsu as like the be all end all. Like if you're a jiu-jitsu, because that's what dominated in the beginning, right? Yeah. but now it's like, is wrestling where it's at?
Maybe, yeah. Somewhere in between, right? So it's always somewhere in between these things.
Although technically, if you look at what the principle of jiu-jitsu is, it's like position over submission. Mm-hmm. So so I guess they're already saying it's like, yeah, you don't really need to go to the finish, because if you just hold the position, you can still destroy the guy. Mm-hmm. You know, like that's like the pillar of jiu-jitsu.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, always get to the position, don't focus on the submission.
Right.
So maybe that's why it worked. I don't know.
Right. But then it's not really entertaining. Like, you had to.
It's not. Yeah. I
mean, normal circumstances, that makes sense, right?
Which is what we're seeing in like normal. You mean like traditional fighting, self-defense base, which is what we're seeing in MMA,
right? Yeah.
Whereas like sport jiu-jitsu, it's like more fanciful. Like, you see some crazy finishes.
Yeah, you're trying to knock them out or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah, it's
submission. Like, that's the word. Yeah, you're trying to submit him. That was
but with the rule set, like, you can't slam, for example, in sport jiu-jitsu. Right. So it's like, okay, well, that takes away
certain moves already.
Yeah. So it's like, I know I'm safe if I just duke in here, you know. Mm-hmm. Whereas like in a fight, it's like there's only it reminds me of Miyamoto Musashi, where he was saying there's only so many ways to cut a man down. And anybody that teaches you like 1,000 moves, like, they're just marketing to you. That's in his book. Like, he's the greatest swordsman who ever lived.
Right.
And like, he wrote that down. And like, you're kind of seeing it now.
Kind of
like,
makes sense.
Do you need 1,000 moves? Like, we just saw these amazing grapplers get like dominated, you know? So I don't know. But I was really like hoping that Brian was going to pull something out. Like, because like, you know, his whole foundation is Gracie University since he was like
a little kid. Right.
But I guess it's just not enough. Like, it's good for like, it made me see like, okay, it's good for street self-defense.
Yeah.
But like, when you're trying to win a fight, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Just, it's very eye-opening.
Yeah.
Anything else about fighting in general? Do you think it's a little barbaric?
Barbaric. Well, I mean, each to their own. I mean, I do like hockey in some ways.
Oh, like the fighting hockey?
Yeah, I mean, that happens. It happened, like, you know, the checking and stuff. That's like, it's not blood level, right? But it's still some form of
so like football, where you're like tackling them.
Yeah.
But I feel like even that, it's
like they're not as barbaric. You know, it's certain levels to it.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like it's only barbaric when you see the people that are quote unquote durable. Mm-hmm. Like, if you watch like Stylebender and like his evasion, that's more like beautiful art.
Yeah,
you know, like how he just like slips out the side and hits you and you get knocked out. It's like, whoa. Whereas like yesterday was pretty brutal. If you look at Ortega's face, craziness. Anyways, okay. So speaking of moving to the U.S., not really related, kind of related. The COVID passports came out this week. We had to all use them.
At least for Ontario, yeah.
For Ontario, yeah.
They've been out in Quebec for a while and BC.
Oh, BC too. Oh, no way.
Yeah, they've had it for a while.
That's cool. Yeah, so there's a little hack that you can do if you create a shortcut on your iPhone, take a little screenshot, and then you can make the shortcut automatically go to the photo. So look that up, TikTok. But you saw another one where it's like you can...
I guess there's different ways. PDF. Yeah, there was another one like taking it from like the iCloud files and then making the shortcut through that way.
Yeah, but do you need to be a part of the internet or... Like, because iCloud files, you were saying?
No, as long as iCloud files, then you have it's stored locally, right?
Oh, okay. Cool,
it can be stored also in the cloud. They're both.
Oh, right? You mean just like the files option?
Yeah. It's just the same thing. It's just...
Where do you even go for files on your iPhone?
There's a folder called Files.
Oh, really?
Or an app, whatever, called Files.
Oh, yeah. I never see that.
I have stuff on there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I use it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I used it a couple times already. I went to 2 restaurants and like jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. You had to show it.
Yeah. I did it at a restaurant and at the swimming and stuff. So
it's weird how I was saying this to you during the week, how we adapt so easily, you know, because I was like, oh, it'll be so weird when everything just goes away, you know? But remember during the height of COVID, and then you had to like do the check-in screening, and then one person at a time, and it took so long just to get into a place, and they removed that, and it's like, okay, that got deleted from my memory. You know what I mean? And then like we're having COVID passports now, and then like when they take them away, it's like, okay, that gets deleted from my memory. I feel like we're like super adaptable as a species.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and we'll try to find it as easier ways to do it as we go, right? Like,
yeah,
like some people are going to be using the paper if they don't have an iPhone to do this thing.
Oh,
or you'd have to have just a screenshot of it.
What if you don't have a smartphone?
Yeah. And I like, for me, I don't want to pull out my ID from the wallet, so it's like I have both of the stuff set up, so all in.
Which is weird though. I didn't know if they would accept that.
I didn't know. I wanted to just try and see.
Yeah, and they were totally cool with it.
It was totally fine.
Yeah, you could take a picture of your license and your COVID passport, and then just swipe between them.
Maybe if you do a little bit of work, you can have both on the same screen, right? Like,
that'd be kind of cool. Yeah. Do like a screenshot, like photo editor or something like that. Yeah, that's true.
And then eventually we're gonna get these QR things, I think. So I don't know.
Really? Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
That's, I think, another month or so.
Yeah. Who? I think France said he had the QR code already.
Yeah. So they start out like where we're, what are we doing now is what they were at maybe a couple months ago.
Oh, okay. So and then a slow rollout.
Yeah, and then they're now in the QR code phase. So
what does the QR code do?
I don't think you need to necessarily have your ID. It's just they scan the QR code. I have no idea.
And the QR code just says like I'm vaccinated. Like it's sort of like a yes or no.
Yeah. And I think that it I'm not too sure. Does it pull up
your file? Like is everyone's QR code different? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know actually. I haven't.
It'll be interesting.
They'll have to explain it as we get closer to that kind of release, how that exactly works.
Yeah.
Right.
I saw the dude. It was a little while back, but he tattooed his QR code on himself as he traveled so that he can get into restaurants abroad, like without having to carry like his phone and stuff. And I was like, that's kind of a cool idea. But then you're saying like, what if it doesn't last forever? It's like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I guess it won't last forever, but what a weird time still we're like watching the evolution of it. You know what's really weird? I was listening to this person talk about like our parents' generation, and what they're saying was our parents are children of the war. Like boomers.
Yeah.
Right? And like now, like the future generations, they'll be saying like, oh, your parents are the children of the COVID, you know, of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Which is also weird. And it's like, because what they're saying in this thing that I was listening to was like the passed down trauma that was associated with being a part of the war. And then I wonder what the passed down trauma will be being associated with the pandemic. You know, because it's like, it's so
I wonder what it is, because there are certain things that last through generations. So like, like I was always taught to like wash your hands once you come inside.
Okay, yeah.
Right, and I think like this may have been like something to do with the Spanish flu or like, you know what I mean? Like, and then because I think my parents had said like, see, like we're doing things that we've been always doing, which was like every time they were saying, remember in the beginning, like wash your hands and all this, but that was like the very normal thing to do in a lot of Asian households, I would think, or at least in my household. So
not in mine.
Yeah. That's just what I was taught, like, right? So that probably comes from something like that.
Oh, that is so fascinating. It's like the origin of words. You know, when like you don't know why something is called this, but then if you look at like the Latin root word, it breaks down to all these other things, and you're like, well, what? That's where that comes from? You know what I mean? It's sort of sort of like, oh, why do you wash hands? And like, oh, if you look at it generationally, it's because somebody in your family like had to deal with Spanish flu. Weird. Yeah, I wonder what our passed down traumas are going to be. It's a very
I don't know.
It's a very odd like I wonder how long this will last too. I know we talked about this before, like what's next is like the economic ramifications, but it'll be interesting to see how long, or if we just accept this. You know what I mean? Like it's so unprecedented. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, from a pandemic to an endemic, right? I think that's the plan.
What's an endemic?
Like it's just a normal flu. Like it's come to that.
Oh, okay.
We want to get it to that level.
Right.
So then we just deal with it like like anything else that we do normally.
Wow. Yeah, it's like such a weird time. Like our version of 9/11 for the younger kids. What was the solution for the Spanish flu? Vaccines?
No.
They just let it die out.
They didn't have time to do anything.
Yeah, also, it just went
at those times they had certain rules like masks and stuff, but like by that time I think it was already like hugely.
Oh, okay.
But also it was like less populations. People weren't traveling as much.
Oh, right.
But
So
even then, it still
contained.
killed a lot of people, right?
Right, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Where are you searching?
Just the endemic meaning.
Oh, and
not really explaining it the way I use it.
Oh, okay.
Just like bringing it down to just a normal disease kind of thing.
Oh, okay. But do you see the thing where they're doing those parties? I think I sent it to you from like Six Buzz, like in Edmonton or whatever. Like people who were doing like the COVID party and they ended up going to the hospital because like they were trying to get it. And then
Edmonton's in Alberta, right?
Yeah.
Alberta's having a big issue though.
Really?
So. Yeah, their ICUs are like full, so they have to ship some people to Ontario.
No way.
Yeah,
wow.
It's really bad for them.
So it seems like so normal. It's so weird because it's like hotspots, you know. So it's like it seems so normal here in Toronto now. Like it seems like it's almost done.
Yeah. Well, for us, we didn't like what happened in Alberta was in the early summers they removed all restrictions.
Oh, okay.
And I think they have probably one of the lower numbers of vaccine rates too.
Okay.
So it kind of makes sense why they're in that situation. I don't think we're gonna hit that kind of thing because our vaccine numbers are very high.
Yeah,
amongst the provinces. So.
That's why it seems like we're just like pretty much normal now.
Yeah, like the case numbers that we're getting is pretty, I would say, stable. Like they're not, doubling up each week or something like that. They've been, from 500 to 700. That's basically been like that for the past few weeks.
Yeah. So it's like
it's just a flat line.
So okay, we're pretty much conquering it. But I wonder.
And we know like most of them are unvaxxed, right? So
they're the people. Yeah.
They were getting it. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if you can open up everything. Like, I wonder how it's gonna work if like one place is really hotspotty, like Alberta, and then the rest of the country is like totally fine. Like, how's that gonna work? How's that gonna work going forward?
I don't know.
It's like nobody's gonna want to, because like looking at the economic ramifications is like, so does tourism open up there? Are people losing jobs there? I don't know.
I don't know what they're doing exactly, but I don't know. Either it goes through so many people that it ends up just flatlining eventually.
Yeah.
But
I mean that's what happened in the Philippines right now. Like I was talking to my cousin and he was saying how it was so like rampant there, and then now they're on the decline because most likely people just got it.
Yeah, that's probably they hit the
herd
immunity kind of numbers. Yeah, like I think that happened in India too. It's like the numbers are low, but their second wave was their biggest, right?
Oh, okay.
And there was a lot of people that died, and even more people than were actually, I would say, like reported, right? But their numbers are low comparative to their population now, right? So
yeah,
probably they went through,
which is crazy to think about.
Stuff.
It's so interesting to see like the juxtaposition of like first and third world, because like first world is like our numbers are low because we got vaccinated. Their numbers are low is because it tore through the whole community.
Yeah,
and it's like, ooh, that's what a way to go, like.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I think I heard that the number of deaths, like we have more population now, but in America that they've surpassed the amount of people that died of Spanish flu.
In America?
In America.
In the world?
In America.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah.
But we have more population now, but still. Like, Spanish flu was more dangerous.
Yeah.
But still, like just by number alone, they've now.
But not percentage wise.
Not percentage.
Yeah. So it's just a good marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing statistic. That's so funny. Another thing that happened this week that I just remembered was the Huawei lady.
Oh yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it happened like very, very, very quickly because I didn't even know about it till like later that evening. But it was happening as a morning news of, was it Friday or something?
I saw on my feed like Trudeau was doing some serious announcement about 2 people who got returned back.
Yeah, so like as soon as the a couple of years ago, this when it first started was, I think the Huawei CFO, she was arrested.
For what,
we did
though?
we did the
Espionage?
no I don't know what the crimes were specifically, but we arrested her on behalf of the United States.
Oh,
yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah,
for what though?
I don't know. This is spy agency stuff.
Yeah, because why would we do that for them?
No, we work together in a lot of
but why?
International
we sell
security
Huawei phones.
stuff.
We sell Huawei phones.
Yeah.
So it's like, what did she do?
But they don't sell it, and it's banned in America.
That's
right?
what I mean. So it's like,
so
what
we
she do,
did the thing. So as soon as we did that, these 2 Michaels that were in China, China arrested them.
Yeah.
As soon as that happened, so it was like
crazy.
And then eventually, now like 2 years later, it's like she's been let go of her charges. So and right away she's flew to China, and then as soon as she was dropped of her charges, they released the Michaels and they came flying back to Canada. So it's like
they're definitely gonna be making a movie about this in the future, like what happened to those 2 guys. Because like this reminds me of like
it's crazy.
Argo. It's kind of
Argo, and then the Benedict Cumberbatch movie.
Yeah.
I think it feels more closer to that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but again, it's like that kind of got like glazed over in the media.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like nobody's really looking into it super deeply.
Which one, the Michaels?
Yeah, this thing. It's like, it got coverage, but it's like, are they still talking? Are they like really looking at the connection between Huawei and the Chinese government? Are they looking at?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think that kind of what tells you already, right? Like how close Huawei was to the Chinese government, that as soon as she was released here, that the Chinese Communist Party released the 2 Michaels. So.
But I don't know how many people are putting 2 and 2 together. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, I've heard that from the media itself.
No, from the okay. But like, I mean, regular people. Like, are they?
Oh, I don't know about the regular people. We're not.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's like, it's interesting how you can just glaze over and just be like, oh, those 2 Michaels got released. Who are being held captive.
Yeah, I mean, if people are paying attention, I think they would understand that. But I don't know if most people pay attention.
That's what I mean. Right. Yeah, and it's like if you read other books too about like the goings, like I finished that Looming Tower, and like, did I talk about that last week?
I think a little bit, but I don't think you.
I think I read just like I was talking about like the humanity of Osama.
Yeah.
But yeah, so even that is like you see the whole backstory of all of it, and it's like there's so much going on behind the scenes that we don't even know about.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like one fun fact, I put this up on my Instagram. I think I took it down though. It's the way Al Qaeda made their money is opium was how was the number 1 seller, and then Al Qaeda was like, okay, we're going to like protect you on this road. You just pay us 10% of what your income.
Yeah.
And that's how they made all their money.
Right.
It's like, but nobody talks about this because like, how did Al Qaeda make their money? Where did they get funded? Or like. Or like that Al Qaeda was a farming organization in the beginning.
Okay.
It was in the book. I was like, what? It was like about agriculture.
Right.
And then it turned into like this whole thing. So maybe them getting back into government is like.
No, Al Qaeda is different than Taliban.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking Al Qaeda. Yeah. No, I was thinking that they're the same. But yeah, they're different.
Right. Okay. Taliban was there, and then Al Qaeda came, I think, after.
I don't remember. But
at least it seems like that. That's what it seemed like from the
documentary that you watched. Yeah. I still have to watch that. Yeah, the Turning Point documentary.
Yeah.
But yeah, so isn't that weird? It's like, oh, Osama was like a young kid who likes soccer, and like, oh, like they make their money through extortion, which is what a lot of mobs make their money off of. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
right, yeah.
And like, who's buying the opium that they're protecting?
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean? Like, there's different layers to everything that most people don't even think about.
Yeah.
Because we're not privy to that information unless you go out and seek that information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, weird. Or the fact that it was an agriculture or like thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? That's plants, man. But then it turned into this thing, you know? It's weird. And then with the Huawei thing, I can't wait for that movie. when they convert it and they tell us what really happened.
Yeah. What's gonna happen with any future trade deals or?
Oh yeah, that's another thing, dude.
With China or Huawei itself. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Because I think they were saying somewhere they were in talks of some Chinese trade deal.
Okay.
Prior to once they arrested the CFO lady, that stopped.
Oh, really?
That ended.
Wow.
Because that caused a clash.
Yeah, it's an economic rift. Now, it just, from my perspective, it seems like everything's just shifting more towards Asia being a powerhouse. Mm-hmm. Like America left Afghanistan recently, and that was a big thing, and like now who's going to partner with Afghanistan? That's the next question, because they have a lot of resources that the world needs. And then this thing with China, it's like we let her go, and just to let our people come back, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like we're playing this game. They're playing this game of like poker with each other, and you can see that the power tide is shifting. You know, like the fact that they got their person back, like China, the Huawei girl. The fact that they got her back is like, the Western country couldn't strong arm them in any way. We couldn't put sanctions. You know what I mean? Like we couldn't like pressure them. We had to concede and be like, okay, here.
There's a lot of games being played because they didn't like when America, Australia, and the UK agreed on like some defense deal. They are going to be protecting America, and they're protecting their like Australia's oceans, right? Because of China.
Oh, and China's like, but
and China didn't like that.
Yeah, see?
So there's stuff going on.
That's what I mean, dude.
Yeah, there's like a lot of stuff going on with, you know.
And like
it's hard to pay attention to everything, but there's a lot. Yeah.
I remember this like years ago, but when my cousin came, when Jan came, he was like, we were talking about world politics and stuff, and he was like, oh, you guys don't even get the news about like China taking over Philippines over here. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, they have all their army boats in the sea, and now there's like a standoff, and like America's supposed to be backing Philippines, so how's that gonna work, you know? Yeah,
there's so many things in that thing. I think I talked about it with you, maybe not on here, but like how I think the Philippines took them to international courts, so they got some of the water back, but they can't cross into some regions or something like that. Like they won, I think, in the international courts.
But how powerful?
But how does that work?
How powerful are things like UN or like international courts? Because like, remember when the UN was like, "Don't go into Afghanistan," and America was like, "Cool story," and then they just went in anyways.
Well, I mean, America was the powerhouse, right?
But now it's like China, don't invade Philippines. Cool story, bro.
But there's
now
a thing.
They're doing it. It's like,
the thing is like since they have maybe Philippines has legitimacy that. I mean, they can use allies to kind of do something, right? It's not like,
but now,
if you just leave it to the Philippines, they can't do it. Yeah, you'd have to rely on your allies as well,
which
to
is
join
America.
Yeah, which
Western
is what it was
nations.
like. Even America, like going into Iraq, it's like, you know, who's my real allies?
Yeah. They called upon Canada, and Canada had to go in too because they're like, all right,
yeah, well,
you guys went in, so
you're gonna be protecting us for other things that we don't.
Right? That's so
we gotta
crazy,
join you on this.
But we don't think about this. Like, there's totally like some weird struggle going on behind the scenes, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's even more blanketed with COVID, you know?
Yeah, international politics. Yeah, I think America had to leave Afghanistan. Just money was being wasted there. because if they're gonna spend, I think they're doing like local stuff or what the term called, like rebuilding a lot of the industrial stuff.
Okay, yeah.
That's going to be trillions of dollars.
For America?
For America, yeah. I think they passed some like bill and stuff like that, or whatever they do over there.
Okay.
But like that money, instead of spending in Afghanistan, now they can spend it. Like they had to leave because of how much money they were spending there.
Yeah, it was such a money suck, and they're like now. But I wonder what if that was triggered by multiple things, not just like the pressure. So it's like, oh, we need to store our money because we got to build against China because China is starting to pick up. You know, but then they're like, then the story they tell us is like, oh, we just, you know, we just did it because we said we would do it. Because like, okay,
of course, yeah. Right,
that's
what it looks like.
There's so many other presidents that have like said they would do it, but they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like, you know, like smoke screening, especially when you watch like movies like Worth.
Yeah, like I haven't seen it yet.
So it's about like paying specific amounts to people who were affected by 9/11, but like in order for them to get their money, there was such a whole back and forth that nobody knew about, nobody saw. You know,
right? Yeah, no, I didn't know about Worth till Worth came out.
Yeah, right. You didn't know that there was like the struggle of how much to pay people off.
Yeah. It's but it's true. Yeah, you didn't think about it because it's not
right. And it's like this whole thing. There's a whole like circus going on behind the scenes. It's trippy. Yeah. Makes you wonder about aliens then. I mean, like maybe there are aliens. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah. Anything else about any of that?
No, I think, yeah.
All right, so you picked up the iPhone 13 this week. What do you think? iPhone 13 Pro.
iPhone 13 Pro. It's been, I think, a total of 3 days now.
Loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you jumped from the 7?
Yeah, I jumped from the 7
to the
13.
Oh, yeah, 13 Pro.
No yeah, case. It was, what was it?
No case.
No case. So, yeah, like, even for the 7, I decided I had the case for a while in the beginning for the iPhone 7. Then I need to remove this.
Yeah.
And then I realized how thin and light the phone actually was without the case. And it's like, I'm going to stick to the caseless from now on. Yeah,
totally. Yeah.
And then, especially now with these being more durable.
Yeah.
And the way they advertise it, Apple does. So, I'm going to go caseless for this.
It's funny. I bought this phone because of the durability and the submergibility. And I had a case on it because it just like, I was so used to cases. And then I saw you without a case. And then I was like, well, mine's supposed to be super durable. Like, and I did submerge it underwater. So it's like, okay, I know this phone like works. So I just took off my case and I'm like, yeah, why would anybody put a case on there? Unless it's like a flex case though. Like if you have like a high-end case, like they make these really fancy like Prada cases, like that's cool, but that's just a flex. But like the phone itself, I feel like you don't even need a case anymore.
Yeah, it was funny. I was in Best Buy yesterday and had to buy something, and the checkout person was like he saw like, oh, is that the Sierra Blue? And he wanted to just see the color, and then he asked. The way he asked was funny. It's like, I don't know if he was trying to commission it or like also in a form of concern question was, oh, you don't want to put a case on it?
It's like, dude, did you not watch the ads? Like the whole point was we don't need cases anymore.
Yeah.
Well, you have the magnetic back, right?
I do, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if you want, you can add that like magnetic wallet.
Yeah. Maybe then I can get rid of my wallet. Cool. That's another thing that it's likely to happen.
Yeah, you could just put like your driver's license on the back and like that's it. That is one selling point I did like about like cases in general, because like I used to have this one case with like the back slots were like card holders, and that is pretty cool. So you don't have to carry around like a little wallet thing. Yeah. So one thing that's like super different between like the 11 and this 13 is the form. Like the outsides are really like they're like sharper edges. It's like, you know what I mean?
Right. It's the same as the 12. Or if you want to go back to like the old phones, like a iPhone 4 and iPhone 5, if you remember those.
Yeah.
And I had those.
Yeah.
And they are better at just gripping in general.
Yeah, I agree. Like holding it it doesn't feel like it's going to slip out of your hands.
Yeah.
I do feel that. But it is pretty heavy though.
It's heavy though. It is heavy, and that's mainly because of the battery.
Okay.
It is currently for the iPhones the biggest battery, so.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I remember when you held mine, you're like, oh, yours is way lighter.
Yeah,
yours is really heavy when I held it.
Like the iPhone 7 was super light.
So the iPhone 7 was comparable to like what I have now. It's like, okay, this is around the same. But then when I held that, I was like, oh, this is a tank.
Yeah. And if the next iterations look like the current leaks or rumored leaks, it's going to be even heavier.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be heavier, yeah.
Oh. That's one thing I don't like. Like, if they just get heavier and heavier, it's like, oh, man.
I mean, there's probably a limit. I don't think they can go super heavy, but it's all about if people want more battery. I think that's kind of what they're doing, at least each iteration.
Do you see the the new Anchor battery? I was like, that's pretty cool.
Like it attach. I don't know.
It's a magnetic battery.
Oh, that attaches on the back? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's pretty sick. Because then it just looks like a little pouch that you add onto the back, and then you extra charge.
But I feel like I'm gonna get like a lot in. Like I won't be nowhere near like at the end of the
at the end of the day. Yeah. I mean, I barely hit that, and I use my phone all the time.
Right. Yeah, and now I can actually like use the charger in the car, so it's going to be daily.
Oh yeah, true. So it's like always being charged, basically. Yeah. Well, one thing that I
like in the past, well, I have charged, I guess, but I've not even charged to 100% in general, and I think right now I'm maybe at just 46, and I haven't charged.
Oh wow.
I haven't charged since last evening. Yeah.
Oh,
around 6, whenever I got back.
Yeah. It's definitely got a tank of a battery on there.
Yeah.
The one thing that I thought was pretty interesting was the camera on the back, the 3 cameras, how they're like more elevated, but like you definitely can see the difference in like photos. We were doing the macro, remember? And like my cameras are like closer to the screen, but they don't have that macro capability that yours does.
Yeah.
I see why it's more like the photography camera. Like if you're like you did the night mode pictures and it looks super crisp.
Yeah, it looked really good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Because I tried it on mine. It's like, it's okay, but yours is really good. Yeah.
Well, it should make sense, I think, right?
Like it gets better. Yeah. Totally,
like it should be getting better.
Yeah. I could see why they would use it for like for filming. We were saying like amateur videographers and stuff. It is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
So you think it's worth the buy? Anybody?
I think if you're jumping from one of those older phones, maybe 3-4-year-old phones, yeah, of course. I don't think if you have an 11, not necessary unless you have some deal or something like that. I don't think it's necessarily necessary.
The 14 though, hopefully that's going to be like we're both. Although we did say on like 2 podcasts ago we got to stop.
Yeah, that's true. We did say that.
But if the rumors are true. Yeah, but that's how we fell into the thing last time. Oh, it's gonna be crazy. And it's like,
because I remember a lot of some other stuff too, where the 13. Oh, maybe I think it'll connect with a satellite phone or like a satellite phone.
Oh, wow. That's
like cool. That rumor came out like just before the day of their actual thing. So it's like,
and like no,
they didn't say anything like that.
So you're better off just waiting to see.
Just wait.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would say like most people are gonna be like. Most people don't follow it like this.
Right. They're just waiting to see.
They really are not following it. They might have just bought the 12, and then they realize, oh, I don't know, the 13 was like they're not really following.
It's just like the thing we were just talking about the underlying politics of everything.
Yeah,
like nobody's really paying attention.
Yeah, like I seen some tweets. It's like, oh, I just bought the 12. Like I didn't know.
It's like, but they do it every year, bro.
Yeah, at the same time, but nobody pays attention to these dates.
Yeah, true. It's tough for Apple though because they set themselves up to always make new iterations every year.
Yeah.
It's like a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
So you end up kind of pissing off a couple people who just bought their phone.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's true.
And then if you can't like live up to the hype, it's also pissing them off. It's like, oh man. That's why you guys should go wait, like buy a phone and then like buy the newest phone at your time and then wait like 6 or 7 years till like the next phone.
Yeah.
And then you're
I mean, that's kind of what I did, right?
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, mind blown.
Yeah. Then it's like, it's kind of...
Was it 6 or 7 years when you got the 7? No, I swear that's not that long ago.
The 7? The 7, I didn't even buy the 7. It was free.
But when did you get the 7? So it was like a couple years ago or something.
No.
You got it while we were in this apartment.
No, when the 7 came out is when I got it. Like maybe
you had it when we were moving into this apartment?
I think so.
Really? I thought you got it while we were here.
Whenever the 7 came out, maybe I think that's... I'm not sure if it was that spring that I got it.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'll have to find out what the year was.
When the 7? Yeah, well, so...
Because I think it was like... It came out with... only 7 was released at the time. So rule of thumb, if you're buying an Apple product, buy the newest one at that time so that you'll be good for about like 5 to 7 years. The only thing is like you're not good forever. And that's kind of what I'm noticing with these like digital watches. I don't know if you saw that I took off my Garmin and I'm wearing like a regular watch now. Oh yeah.
Right? Because it's kind of like the Garmin, they're going to come out with a new iteration with like better tech. Mm-hmm. But like these classic watches will just like last forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's some people who have like vintage watches, you know, that are like 100 years old. But I feel like again, going back to double-edged swords, it's like technology kind of has that problem now where it's like you'll always have continuous improvement at such a rapid rate.
2017. The September 2017. So you can say 2018 when I got it.
I don't even know when we moved in here. But yeah, so 2018. So that's only 3 years.
3 years with that phone.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's not like, so maybe I was wrong when I said wait 5 to 7 years. You gotta wait just like 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, everyone they have a variety of phones, right?
But you know what I mean? Like there's no infinite, like there's no like vintage technology. Some people use like iPod Nanos still. Like the old, remember those like little square ones?
Yeah.
Or no, Shuffles, sorry. The Shuffle. The one that's like a little square.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right.
But like, that's so outdated. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's the problem with tech, you know, you just gotta keep upgrading. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is, I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
So have you played around with the iOS 15 yet?
I haven't too much. There's only currently the one feature I'm just working on setting it all up.
Okay.
Which is the focus mode.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like having different profiles.
Yeah.
At different like personal use apps or work apps. So only send me notifications during my work time from these apps.
Why do they call it focus mode? Is it like because you focus in on that thing or like...
yeah, I think it's...
like, what was the marketing component? I'm wondering.
It's more like what we should be focusing on at the time, you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because like there's other things that have that, but they're like called profiles.
Yeah, it's not really... Profiles can mean different too, right? Because it's like profiles, it's like...
Different person using it. Yeah, okay, fair.
So I think they were just saying like focus is, okay, I'm focusing on work, so I only want these things.
Right,
working.
Okay. Hey, that's funny. That's what you fixated on. For me, I didn't expect it to be like this, but I guess like I had seen it in their promo, but picture in picture.
Right.
But dude, it was great because like yesterday, like I was watching the UFC fight on my phone, and then I was like, oh, I want to write something down. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to close this window. But as soon as I shifted windows, it went picture in picture. I was like, oh, I can still watch the fight while I'm writing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Well, yeah.
Like, why didn't they have that before?
I guess the phone didn't have it. I was used to it on the iPad.
Oh, they did? Oh, yeah. I watched you use it on the iPad. Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's where I first saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, genius. Why would you not have that feature?
Yeah.
Tech's getting better and better. One thing I haven't tried, but I do want to try, though, is the read image.
I know what Android people are going to say that, oh, it's already been on Android.
Oh, it has been?
It has been, but I don't know how smooth did it work? You know what I mean? Like there's things like that.
Oh, speaking of smooth, the refresh rate that we were talking about.
Oh yeah,
on your
or they call it ProMotion.
So we did the ProMotion testing it out with your 13 and my 11, and it's like you could definitely see the jitteriness when they go side by side.
Yeah,
you could see the jitteriness on the older phones like the 11 Pro.
I noticed it right away how smooth it
is smooth. It is smooth.
It was like right away I noticed it.
Yeah,
and then like when you're putting it, you can physically see it when you put those two phones side by side and doing it. So like
my one's choppy.
Yeah, so like all phones other than 13 Pro all have 60 hertz as like a standard screen refresh rate, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And the 13 Pro it's called adaptive, so it goes from 10 hertz to 120 hertz.
Right.
It'll be depending on
your
so it'll go based on how you're scrolling and stuff.
Yeah, and it feels so smooth. Like we even did like the refresh rate of we opened Twitter and we scrolled, and yours was like an actual infinite scroll.
Yeah.
Like mine was like loading. Yours was like you could scroll for days. It's those little things, you know, like that is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I mean, like worthy of a substantial.
Is it the
upgrade?
only thing that you're waiting for?
Right,
like if
so
it was really something, like I was actually hoping for the ProMotion on the 12,
right?
But it didn't happen until now. But it was something that I was waiting for. But there's other things that I do like about it. So.
Right, so it's like it's like these are. That's why it's like you gotta just wait a few years before getting the new phone, and then these things will seem like crazier. But if you just go iteration, it's like that's such a small thing.
Yeah,
you know, it's such a small thing, but it's like it's phenomenal. But it's like, was it worth the upgrade to go from like 11 Pro to 13? It's like, I'll wait.
Yeah. Most people won't care about these other things.
yeah, totally. It's just like a nice user experience thing. But one thing I do want to test out, I haven't yet, is the reading text for the image.
Right. Yeah.
I wonder how that's gonna go. I was seeing this thing about like how you can just like write your notes. Like let's say you're in university, you write all your notes down on a piece of paper and you take a photo and it'll just like write that out for you.
Oh.
Into like a pad or whatever.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and even it has that option now. I don't like it. It's weird like going through because I just upgraded the 15 and I'm seeing a bunch of new options on my thing. So like when it's saying like what do you want to type, you can actually take a photo now. Like, so almost like, it's like, do you want to write through dictation or do you want to write through writing out on a piece of paper and then scanning that piece of paper? Oh. You know, like the microphone option?
Yeah.
How you can like choose dictation.
Okay. Oh, I see.
An additional option is like,
right.
Take a photo of this image and then.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I was seeing it last night and I was like, oh, that's new.
So there's a lot of things that they don't even really talk about that just people find out as they're going through. As they go through these things. Yeah. They have so much, they don't have enough time to go through like every single thing that the new software is going to be having. They just focus on certain things that they feel like will be popular.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Even like that thing that you're showing me, like where you pull down halfway through the screen or whatever. Oh, it's not doing it now. And then it like minimizes it or whatever. Like it's just basically hotkeys is what you're not hotkeys, like shortcuts is what you're like gesture shortcuts. That's pretty fascinating as well. Like you can, I wonder if there's like a website to show you like all of the gesture shortcuts.
I don't know, probably. You just gotta find,
because you'd be like, oh, there's so many. Like I didn't even know about this one where this is an old feature, but like I was listening to a podcast, I was like, oh, I didn't know that's how you do that. So like let's say I want to go in between a letter. Yeah. Like I type in notes, write down thing, you hold down the space bar. And move that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I think that's been there for a while, but
they don't advertise.
It. Like, so it's like you just find. Oh, accidentally, I think I found that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like they're giving you like all these Easter eggs. Yeah, you know, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do this. It's like,
It's just,
I think it's a fun. I think it's kind of like a fun. Oh, it's a new thing, something you learn. You know what I mean? Accidentally finding out.
It's sort of like speaking of Easter eggs, it's sort of like how they engraved all of the developers' names into the Mac. The old Mac. You know what I'm talking about? Steve Jobs, he like wrote all like if you open the
like the original colored Mac thing, engraved in somewhere inside the machine is like all the developer, all their names.
It's like little Easter eggs.
Yeah.
That's been a part of Mac since the beginning. Yeah. But anyways, so any final things about tech or how awesome your phone is?
Yeah, it's good.
How does it integrate with your Tesla? Basically the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the same. Yeah.
Do you need a wire when you're doing I guess you did you need a wire before?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, everything's done through wireless. You just need the key card. You just place the key card beside your seat where there's a spot for that.
No, I mean like with your phone.
To connect it to the phone.
Oh, yeah.
To pair it with the phone.
Yeah.
And then it's paired. I think it's very, very easy.
Oh, that's cool.
It's very easy. Yeah.
Can you put your key card on your phone? That would be kind of cool.
Your key card is the phone, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everything is the phone. Like, I don't have to use the key card.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, it's just the first, like when you're pairing it, that's only when you need it.
Oh, okay.
After that, your phone is the key card.
Oh, that's cool. So every time you go near your Tesla, it's like it knows it's you because of your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna hit that state where it's like nothing on us except for our phones.
Which is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
I think I've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah. And then the next one is the microchip. Nothing on us, not even our phones. Yeah, the future's crazy. All right. Till next time.
Yeah.
Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.
Bye. All right. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors: Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.